almost upon us. Yeah, CAT 2022 is just round the corner. Keeping this in mind, we know each and every one of you is really excited, but is also looking for the last final push and the fillip that is going to add those extra 5, 10, 15 percentile to your final CAT score. Well, because of this, BYJU'S exam prep brings to you the last lap to CAT 2022, starting on the 17th of October all the way till the 20th of November. Yes, 4.5 intensive, in fact almost 5 intensive weeks of preparation. What more, the focus is predominantly going to be CAT, which means, as we know, time, speed, distance and time and work in totality have almost equal weightage or sometimes even more weightage than geometry. So can we go ahead and leave geometry and just focus on these two? Can we go ahead and leave entire theta para jumbles and still score a 99.99 percentile in verbal? Yes, we can. This and much more in terms of preparation, in terms of intensive questions that we're going to look at and the smartest way of going ahead and solving that. So catch us on the BYJU'S exam prep app, and in case you missed that, on YouTube. But go ahead, download the BYJU'S exam prep app and also get a 99 percentilers kit which is going to help you ace CAT 2022.
Good afternoon. So today we will be doing all of arithmetic today, which will include percentages, ratio, then we have got SICI, time, speed and distance, time and work, replacement. So we'll be covering all the topics. Okay, we are going to look into all the formulas. Okay, and maybe you will come across some really good shortcuts. So let's start with the first one, which is going to be percentages. So in the case of percentage, what all things are very necessary for you to know? It's fractions to decimal and decimal to percentage conversion and vice versa. This is the single most important thing when it comes to percentage. Without this, you are always going to get stalled. You are going to go very slow. So you should be quickly able to convert a percentage into its corresponding fraction, or if there is a reference percentage, as in if you have something like more or less, you should be able to quickly convert this into the fractions. Okay. These fractions, whatever I'm writing, these are also called as multiplying factors. Not every time you will be able to write them as a simpler decimal value. So 9.09 percentage is going to be difficult when you try to write that as in decimal value and you will not get an accurate answer. So always go for fractions. Okay. So percentage, what all topics that you can expect in CAT? So you're going to have basic type of questions. Okay, then you have got successive percentage change, or also known as base change based questions. Then you can have profit, loss and discount, and then you can have adulteration. The next one you can have is SICI and replacement. So this takes care of all of percentage के अंदर ये सब topics हो जाते हैं. Okay. So I'll start with successive percentage change and how do we deal with them. So the first thing is you will have you should know the conversion, like I said, and you should be good with a bit of multiplication. Okay, so that is also important. Give me a moment. Is this too. Okay. So when it comes to successive percentage change, there are tons of applications of this, right? So if you have any formula of the type constant into something results in something, then constant is of no concern to us. Multiplying factor of A percentage into multiplying factor of B percentage will result in multiplying factor of C percentage, something that you must be aware of. So whenever you have something, some particular percentage which says more, so you're going to add, and if it says less, you're going to subtract. Also, any percentage or reference percentage which says more, it's going to be a value greater than 1, and if it says less, it will always be less than 1. Okay. So the example for this being, if somebody says 20% more, you know that it's going to be 1.2, and if somebody says 10% less, it's going to be 0.9. So you should be quick with it. So this is the first application of SPC. The second application of SPC is that whenever you have a particular group, okay, so this is group which is made up of two constituents, let's say constituent 1 and constituent 2. And suppose out of these two constituents, if one of the things decreases, then you will have a new group that will be made up of C1 minus X, and the other it will be made up of C2, right? So the thing that doesn't change is C2. So you always equate the C2 as in the non-culprit. So you will write down C2 percentage of old group is going to be same as C2. It's going to be C2 dash actually. The percentage will change, okay? Then you will be writing down C2 dash percentage of the new group. And this will help you solve questions faster. So this happens whenever you have something and it is made up of two or more than two constituents and one of them changes. So it could be minus or plus, it really doesn't matter. So ये plus minus होगा तो इधर भी plus minus होगा. Okay. The third application of successive percentage change is the third application is profit, loss and discount. So how do we deal with profit, loss and discount? You have to remember three very important relations. The first one is selling price is equal to multiplying factor of profit or loss percentage into cost price. Okay. The next one is selling price is equal to multiplying factor of discount percentage into mark price. And the third one is mark price is equal to multiplying factor of markup price percentage into cost price. These three will help us solve any question that we come across in profit, loss and discount. Okay. After this, the fourth one is adulteration. Now adulteration, they do have, we do have formulas for this, but I will prefer that if you guys can, actually use common sense. Okay. Let's say if it is given that, for example, if it's given that 10 liters of milk is adulterated with 3 liters of water. So what is the multiplying factor here, right? So what you have to understand is adulteration is nothing but it's another word for profit. So a profit means there is something that is increasing. It may be price that is increasing. It may be the volume that is increasing. ठीक है, कुछ भी हो सकता है दोनों में से. It's going to be either price or volume. So if this is an example where volume is increasing, adulteration is happening. So we started with 10 liters and we will eventually have 13 liters to sell, right? So this is a scenario of profit, and since profit is always going to be more, which means the fraction needs to be greater than 1, तो अपन यहाँ 13 by 10 या 10 by 13 में से एक लिखने वाले. We are going to write that fraction which is supposed to be more than 1. So is 13 by 10 more than 1 or is it 10 by 13 more than 1? You will realize that 13 by 10 is more than 1 and you get your multiplying factor ऐसे. Suppose you have a part of the question where it says that something was bought for rupees 20 and is now sold for rupees 28. Now, you started with 20 rupees, you spent 20 rupees, and always, one more important thing, when you are dealing with profit, loss and discount, always consider yourself to be a shopkeeper, a business owner, never a customer. Okay? So when you bought something for 20 rupees as a shopkeeper and then you are selling it for 28, you are going to earn something, right? It's a profit for you. So again, since it's a profit, तो ये 1 से बड़ा होना चाहिए fraction. So there are two numbers, 20 and 28. So 20 is going to be the denominator and 28 is going to be the numerator. Then only you are going to have a fraction more than 1. When is a fraction more than 1? When the numerator is greater than denominator, isn't it? So this is how we deal with adulteration. If I mix both of them, as in 10 liters of milk is adulterated with 3 liters of water and milk was bought for 20, now it is sold for 28. You are going to multiply these two fractions and get the final answer. Okay? The next part of profit loss, successive percentage change is nothing but profit loss and discount. Simple interest, compound interest. SI and CI. So, of course, one part is the formula. Okay. The next part is table. So, for table, you need to understand that there is going to be a principal, there is going to be a rate of interest, that I will call it as a relation. Okay. So, R percentage is that relation that will help you find out how principal and interests are related. How an interest and the subsequent interests are related. So whenever there is a relation that you're trying to find out, we are going to use R percentage. So the table for SI and CI with same P and R, you can draw a table for simple interest and you can draw a table for compound interest. And the maximum that you will have to remember is for 3 years. That is more than enough. Way more than enough. Okay? So if I talk about first year, second year and third year, these are the interests. Okay, the ones that I'm writing. Either interest A hoga, either B A hoga, either B hoga. So in the case of simple interest, the interest every year doesn't change as long as rate of interest doesn't change. In the case of compound interest, you are going to have A, then you're going to have A plus B, and then you're going to have A plus 2B plus C. Now, how are A and P related? So A and P are related by R percentage. How are A and B related? By R percentage. How are B and C related? By R percentage. Once you draw this table, it doesn't matter whether they ask you what is the difference in the interests, what is the total interest, what is the interest in a particular year, what is the difference in the interest in a particular year. कुछ भी पूछ दिया जाए, whatever they ask in the question, everything you will be able to answer. So you don't have to rely on different formulas or different methods in order to solve different types of questions in SI and CI. Okay. So this is the smartest way to solve. So if I talk about a particular question, suppose it is given that under same P and R, simple interest at the end of 3 years is, let's say, कितना लिया जाए? Let's take this as 450. Okay. And compound interest at the end of 3 years is, how much shall I take? 450 से ज़्यादा ही होगा, right? So let's do one thing. Let's take this as 496.5 rupees. So you have to find what is P and what is R percentage. ये पता करना है हमें. Okay. So the moment we come to know that this is the simple interest at the end of 3 years, so how much should be each A such that the sum is 450, right? So can we say that it is going to be, hold on. Yeah. So can we say this is going to be 450 divided by 3 every year? So this is 150, this is also 150, this is also 150, right? Total 450. Yeah. That means this A is also 150, this A is also 150, and this A is also 150, right? Now, out of 496, if we already have 450 taken out, then we are left with 46.5. This is what we are left with. See, even if you use equations, you will have a cubic. Remember, compound interest के formula में there will be a power 3 because we are talking about 3 years. तो उधर भी आपको hit and trial या फिर लंबा solution करेगा. So it's better that if you use hit and trial right here. So how much should I take B as? So if you look at this, 3B plus C is 46.5. So our target is to find a B which should be much larger than C. And also please remember that in CAT or any exam, they will not give you the rate of interest as a complicated value. It's going to be only one of the fractions that you would remember. Okay. तो अपन एक काम करते हैं, B को 15, तो ये 30, 30 plus 15 is 45 and C को 1.5 ले लेते हैं. 30, 15, 45 plus 1.5 is 46.5. This makes sense. Now, the distribution that we have done, is it the correct or is it like random? Right? As in, sahi hai, galat hai. So, we are going to check this. How we are going to check this? We will see if 150 and 15 are they related in the same way as 15 and 1.5 are. So, 15, 150 is what percentage is this? It's a 10 percentage. And 1.5 is what percentage of 15? This is also 10 percentage. The moment you get the same relation, it means you are going on the right track. If you, instead of 15, if you choose any other number, your answer will not be true. So this is going to be, the relations are going to be true for one and only one set of values. So if I know the value of R percentage, right? It turns out to be 10 percentage. Ye pata chal gaya. The moment I know that R percentage is 10%, can I find out what principal is? So principal kya hona chahiye so that it's 10% is 150, right? This is the first interest. So principal should definitely be 1500. So principal 1500 aa gaya. No formula and we can exactly see what is happening. Suppose in this question, had they not asked us what P and R are, but rather what is the difference in the interest in the second year? So dikh raha hai na, 15 rupees. This is what extra we have. What is the total compound interest earned in the first 2 years? 150 plus 150 plus 15, 315, right? So the table approach or this approach is always the better approach. So you should remember the table. Under simple interest, it should be A. Under compound interest, it should be A plus B and A plus 2B plus C. Always, irrespective of whatever the rate of interest is, whatever the principal is, hoga to yahi har bar. Beyond 3 years, you are not asked. Thankfully, that's a good thing. Okay. Let's go to the next part, which is the replacement. So in the case of replacement, you have a very, very standard formula. Okay. The formula is volume remaining of any particular, in any question. Okay. I'll tell you kiska volume. Volume remaining is equal to initial volume. So volume remaining ki jagah, you can also treat this as final volume. Same thing. Okay. Into 1 minus volume taken out divided by volume available then. And this same factor, same bracket will keep on multiplying if you have more than one case of scenario. If you have a scenario where the same volume is being taken out again and again and the same volume is being replaced, so you will have a power of n. पर अगर different है तो same factor multiply करते चलोगे. So let's take an example and understand how this works. So suppose if you are given a question that a container of volume 80 liters is completely filled with pure acid, and then it is given that 16 liters of this solution is always replaced with water. And let's say it's given thrice. then find the final volume of acid. Final means the remaining, right? So in this question or questions of any question in replacement, what you have to understand is there are two things, right? One is acid, and once acid is taken out, water comes in. Then you will have acid and water both. Then both will go out and then water will come in more. फिर दोनों हो जाएगा, फिर water और आएगा. So water will keep on increasing, acid will keep on decreasing. And it's not simple addition, okay? It's in terms of fractions, or also known as the multiplying factors, or in terms of percentages. So when we are dealing with questions like this, so what you need to understand is what is being added. बार बार add क्या कर रहे हैं? As in whatever the thing is getting replaced with, what is that thing? So every time it is getting replaced with water. So the formula will only work on acid, it will never work on water. So you have to understand that whether you use a table or whether you use this shortcut, the formula, it is always applicable to the thing that is always added. It's never applicable to the thing that is being removed. Okay. So we can calculate acid, and thankfully that's what is asked. So we can say that acid remaining is equal to how much initially acid we had? 80 liters completely full, pure acid means 100% concentrated acid, right? So we can say 80 liters of acid we had. Then how many liters is being removed? 16 liters is being removed. When this 16 liters is being removed, out of how many liters is it being removed? So 16 liter to bhai apna 80 liters se remove ho raha hai na. And how many times is this happening? It is happening thrice. So give a power of 3. And then you solve this. So this is going to be 80. 16 by 80 is 1/5, right? So this is 1 minus 1 by 5. So it's 4 by 5 into 4 by 5 into 4 by 5. Right? So what we can do is we can take care of this. So we will have 16. So 2 to the power 4, 2 to the power 6, 1024, 2048, 4096, 8192, and 16.8192. So 163.84. So 116.384 liters of acid you will be left with. ये हो जाएगा आंसर. ठीक है? So just verify the calculation once, but this is exactly what you are going to do. So this is all about percentage. Okay. Is it 16 point? Did I divide it further? मेरे को एक बार verify कर लेते हैं. So we have 16 into 4 into 4 divided by 25. So we will have 16, 64, 256, 1024 by 25, right? 1024 by 25 क्या होता है? So I will have to multiply this by 4. अच्छा एक ही बार करना था, sorry. I end up multiplying twice. So 4096. So 40.96 liters हो जाएगा, not 16. मैंने दो बार 4 से divide कर दिया. Okay? And this is all we have when it comes to percentages. So out of these 4 topics or subtopics of percentage, which one is the most important one? मतलब किससे question आना ही आना है, no matter what. So you will definitely get a question from profit, loss and discount. You will definitely get a question from successive percentage change. 2 questions of percentages definitely will be there. Now this SPC may be either on base change या basic type का होगा. So it's either going to be easy or a little moderate. Okay. SICI maybe 1 question or maybe not even a single question. Replacement maybe 1 question or maybe not even a single question. And normally When I look at CAT doesn't give you a replacement question, which is very, very time consuming, very lengthy. As in, if you are thinking of drawing a table in order to solve a question replacement, you are going wrong. Mat draw karo table. You can solve it normally by simply taking the ratios or using the formula directly. उससे ज़्यादा नहीं आने. So दो questions तो fix है percentage से. You can have more than that. And you should always pray that you have more questions from percentage because it's the easiest, right? और ये भी हो रखा है ना कि हमने इतनी बार प्रैक्टिस रिवाइज कर चुके हैं परसेंटेज की, अब सब पता है. नेक्स्ट वन इज रेशियोज. So in the case of ratios, we have a lot of subtopics. So one is ratios में क्या होता है कि you have basic type. Basic type means you should know what ratio means. You should know how to extrapolate the values. As in, you start with an assumption and you get the final desired answer, and then you verify it with the values given in the question. और जितना टाइम्स हो रहा है, you make everything those many times. So basic type का question हो गया. Then the next part of ratios is averages, which is same as allegation, right? And then you have got ratios के अंदर, I'll not say ratios के अंदर, I'll say ratios and proportion. I'll take both of these together. So averages and allegation basic. इसके अलावा तो और कुछ है नहीं. Ratios में सब कवर हो जाता है. Proportion is now vast. So in proportion you get time, speed and distance, and you get time and work. So if you look at it, the entire arithmetic is made up of two things: percentage and ratio and proportion. We generally treat time, speed, distance as a completely different topic. It's not. Time and work as a completely different topic. It's not. They all have to do with ratios. And frankly speaking, percentage भी कोई नया topic नहीं है. It comes from ratio only. तो ये आपका arithmetic है. Now, how many questions out of these four types are you going to expect in ratio? So TSD को छोड़कर, you will get, you can expect question from each of the three for sure. Surety है that you will get one question on basic application of ratios, one question on averages or allegation. Allegation is just a method, right? And one question from time and work for sure. एक तो आना ही है. You may get a question from TSD, you may not get a question from TSD. Maybe you get two questions from TSD, you never know. Maybe you will have two questions from time and work, नहीं पता. पर होना है. Now, if I look at how the questions are divided, you know that from arithmetic you get around 8 to 10 questions. कभी-कभी 8 to 10 questions, ठीक है? So let's take 9 questions average. 9 questions अगर होने हैं, 9 में से 3 इधर है, and then we have 2 questions from percentage for sure. 5 questions हो गए. We are left with 4 questions. Now those 4 questions may be from a new topic, जैसे TSD से एक दे दिया, or it may be more questions from the ones जो हम लोग already देख रहे हैं. For example, you may have 2 questions from averages, 2 questions of time and work. Okay. When it comes to basic, you have got a few things that you should always use in order to increase your speed. The first is if you are given 2a is equal to 3b is equal to 7c और आपसे पूछा जाए a कितना है, b कितना है, c कितना है. This is an assumption, right? So you will always take a as the product of the other two coefficients, and same is true for a, b and c as well. सबके लिए यही करना होता है. And then you straight away rush question में क्या दिख रहा है. Okay. The next important thing in the case of ratios is if you are given a fraction like 2a upon b plus c minus a is equal to 2b. ये एक स्पेशल टाइप का क्वेश्चन है, एंड दैट इज इक्वल टू 2c अपॉन a प्लस b माइनस c, और पूछा जाए इसकी वैल्यू क्या है. सो रिमेंबर दिस विल ऑलवेज हैव 2 आंसर्स. ओके. Two answers depending upon what condition you are going to take. So if you take the condition as a plus b plus c is not equal to 0, then all you have to do is put the values of a, b, c as 1. सबको 1 ही रखोगे, आप 2 भी रख सकते हो, आप 3 भी रख सकते हो, आप 100 भी रख सकते हो. But if you want to make your calculation easier, always put the value as 1. So if I put the value of ABC as 1 in all the three fractions, I'll get the answer very quick. It's going to be 2 divided by 2 minus 1. So it will give me the answer as 2. ये एक answer आता है. The second condition is if A plus B plus C is equal to 0. When such a condition is given, then what you do is you try to write down first fraction in terms of only one variable. मतलब इधर से B plus C you need to get rid of. For that, you have something here. So from here we can get b plus c is equal to minus a. You need to put this here and you will get the second answer that is possible for this particular fraction. So these three fractions each will be either equal to 2 or it will be equal to minus 1. A cut jayega na? A can't be 0, of course. So now you must be thinking which one to use. Shall I put a plus b plus c not equal to 0 or equal to 0? Well, in the question, if nothing is mentioned, you'll have to take both the cases. Otherwise, if in the question it is mentioned which one to take, you obviously know which one to use. And you should not try and check the other fractions and waste your time. जब first वाले से -2 आ गया ना, तो सबसे -2 ही आएगा. अब time waste मत करो. Already equal लिखा हुआ है ना, तो बराबर ही आएगा. Okay, so you need to rush when you look at these questions because these questions have got a very standard concept and standard approach. Okay, next comes in averages. So you should be very good with the definition of average first of all, क्योंकि definition से 90% of the questions solve हो जाते हैं, right? So average is a value that will replace all the values such that sum is constant if you're talking about arithmetic mean, right? तो एवरेज में क्या होता है कि सपोज इफ यू आर गिवन 9, 10, 11, 14 and x and the average of these is 12 and if you're asked what is x. So there are many ways to solve it. 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 14 plus x whole divided by 5 is equal to 12. Or you can straight away say 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 14 plus x is equal to 12 into 5. The second method was just a step ahead than the previous method that I said. The faster approach is always going to be looking at the deviation. The deviation ka sum is going to be 0 when you are looking at the deviation from the value to the average. So 9 से 12 हो गया, so this is an increase of 3. 10 से 12 हो गया, this is an increase of 2. 11 से 12 हो गया, this is an increase of 1. 14 से 12 हो गया, this is a decrease of 2. So x to 12 should be such a chain so that ये जो numbers दिखे ना +3, +2, +1, -2 और इधर जो आएगा, if you add them, it should be 0. So why is this faster? Because we actually do not deal with larger numbers. Deviations are going to be simple values, single digit, 1 point something, double digit, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं होगा. While the deviation, if you add everything, you are adding, you are doing multiplication, you are subtracting. More calculations will mean there are more places where you can go wrong, right? Accuracy maintain करना बहुत ज़रूरी होता है competitive exams में. So -2 will take care of +2. This is +1 and +3. तो इधर -4 चाहिए so that 4 will get compensated. So what should I have x as so that when I subtract 4, I get a 12. So x will give you a 16. And if you practice this approach, it's going to be very helpful when it comes to DI. Because DI में there are so many values, no? You can't really add every time and say कि, you know, this is the sum, this is the sum on the other side and equate. So deviation approach is always the faster approach or the storytelling thing. Now, a way to solve averages is you put a value, you put the second value, you put the frequency of the first value, you put the frequency of the second value in the same column. And the average if it is at the center. So होता क्या है? The difference of the first value and the average results in the second frequency, second value's frequency, and the difference in the second value and the average will result in the first value's frequency, and not exactly the magnitudes of the frequency, but ratio. So ratio of frequencies will remain same as long as two values have an average. इसका use we do not do a lot normally while solving, right? आप लोग को normal question वैसे करा होगा ना कभी. 10 students have an average age of 19 years, 5 students have an average age of 21 years. If they come together, what is the average? You straight away jump to weighted average का formula. Don't use allegation, right? इसके साथ प्रॉब्लम ये होगा बेटा कि DI में अगर आ गया एवरेज बेस्ड क्वेश्चन तो ना वॉट लगने वाली आपकी. सो इफ यू रियली वांट टू बी वेरी क्विक इन DI, please get used to allegation as much as possible. So whenever you are practicing until the D-Day, whenever you come across a question on averages, even though it takes 30 seconds more or 2 minutes more, use this approach. Get used to it. Because it's all about confidence. And you will have confidence if you solve tons of questions using a particular method. तब उस method में विश्वास होता है. Why are you confident in weighted average? Because बचपन से you have been using that formula, no? So you are confident. So allegation is important if you want to solve a question faster. Now, the demerit of allegation is you cannot use 3 values and their corresponding frequencies simultaneously. तो ये एक आपका approach गड़बड़ हो जाता है. As in, it doesn't work here. Also, average lies between the smallest and the largest of the values, right? Mean and max of values. ये पहला note है. Second is average is closer to the value with higher frequency. ये सारी चीजें हमेशा दिमाग में रहनी चाहिए because sometimes you don't have to even write down anything. Looking at the options, you know, अरे average तो इधर होगा, चलो ये option है. पर ये भी confidence कब आएगा? When you will actually use it, right? Okay. The important part that I really wanted to discuss was TST, because I know you guys are very much troubled by it. Hold on. PPT is getting stuck. One second. Allegation, Piyush? Allegation का ये एग्जाम्पल हो जाएगा that there is a class A जिसमें there are the average weight of class A is 45 kgs. Average weight of class B is let's say this is 63 kgs, and average weight of A and B together is, let's say, 52 kgs. Okay. And number of students in class A, we don't know. Number of students in class B is 21 students. So we need to find out how many students do we have in class A. ये पता करना है. तो आप क्या करोगे? You will draw. आप उसको ना वैसे अरेंज कर लोगे जैसे हमने करा था. तो पहली वैल्यू 45 लिखोगे, नेक्स्ट वैल्यू 63 लिखोगे. 45 का फ्रीक्वेंसी वी डोंट नो, 63 का फ्रीक्वेंसी 21, द एवरेज इज 52. इसको बीच में ऐसे पुट कर लिया. उसके बाद क्या करोगे? व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस ऑफ 45 एंड 52? वो लिख दोगे. What is the difference between 52 and 63? You're going to write that. And you will say that the ratio of the students should be 11:7. Then you are going to look at, अरे ये 7 तो नहीं है, ये तो 21 है. तो इधर भी 11 नहीं होना चाहिए, 33 होना चाहिए. Right? So you get the value of the number of students. Clear? ठीक है पीयूष, ये ध्यान रखना, एवरेज इज इट बिटवीन 45 and 63? Yes. So allegation will always work. And if it is not between 45 and 63, then no equation, no method will work because the question is wrong. क्योंकि एवरेज हमेशा दो वैल्यूज के बीच में कहीं पर होता है, नॉट ऑलवेज एट द मिडिल, समवेयर इन मिडिल, राइट? ओके, टाइम, स्पीड एंड डिस्टेंस. In time, speed and distance, it's all about ratio of speeds again. Okay. So the problem with us is, I'm going to include myself with you guys, is that when we come across questions, we start writing down the equations and the variables, और हम ना फोटो बनाना शुरू कर देते हैं, which is kind of important because without drawing the line as in denoting that this is the distance between 2 points, इतने समय के बाद ये इधर आ गया, ये इधर आ गया, we can't visualize it unless and until we see it in front of us. So drawing तक तो चलता है, but equations and variables is something we should not be good with. जितना बुरा है उतना अच्छा है हमारे लिए. So there are few types of questions, not questions, I'll say few types of movement of two bodies that we should understand. And once we understand that, तो उसके बाद दुनिया का कोई भी क्वेश्चन दे दे, every question I can solve without using any equation and without using any variable. I'll look at the question, I'll draw the drawing and I'll like, ये आंसर है. What are those few things? तो पहला ये है that suppose if this is the distance between two bodies, ये इधर से A चालू हो रहा है और इधर से B चालू हो रहा है, and suppose the speed of A is 5 and the speed of B is 3. Suppose इनका speed 5 और 3 नहीं है, suppose इनका speed 50 and 30 है. I don't care what their actual values are, I'm going to take the ratio. 50 and 30 हो या 5 and 3 है, I don't care, the ratio is 5:3. Secondly, सर यूनिट तो बताया नहीं, डिस्टेंस किलोमीटर मीटर, स्पीड किलोमीटर पर आवर, मीटर पर सेकंड, मीटर पर मिनट. बेटा उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, कहानी वही रहनी है. डिस्टेंस ज्यादा तो ज्यादा देर तक चलेंगे, डिस्टेंस शॉर्ट दे विल वॉक और दे विल रन फॉर स्मॉलर ड्यूरेशन. It doesn't matter. So the distance has got no role to play. The actual speeds and their units have got no role to play. The only role that is required is when you have to take the ratio of the speeds. Whether it is circular, whether it is linear, whether it is to and fro, whether it is zigzag, कोई भी question हो. So when two bodies are moving towards each other, in other words, when the two bodies are moving in the opposite direction, तो आप क्या करते हो, दोनों स्पीड्स को लेके ऐड कर देते हो, द प्रोपोर्शन 5 + 3 is 8 and you divide the entire distance into 8 equal parts. आंसर आ गया. A will move 5, 1 2 3 4 5 and B will move 3 और ये इधर मिलेंगे. हमें और क्या चाहिए? I only need where they are going to meet. No, if the distance is given as 800 meters, I know 500 meters from here, 300 meters from here. If the distance is given as 120 meters, ठीक है, 120 by 8 कर लेंगे. 15 meters, 15 15 15 75, 15 15 15 45, कुछ भी दिया जाए, it's always doable, right? Okay, the second is, what if they are moving in the same direction? फिर क्या करते हैं? So let's take the same example. So A is moving in the same direction at the speed of 5 as that of B, and B is moving at the speed of 3. So this is an example where they're moving in the same direction, and common sense, the faster person, the person who walks more faster, should be one behind. As in A should be chasing B, B can't chase A ever. है ना? When this happens, what you do is you divide the distance between A and B in the difference of the ratio. 5 and 3 को minus करते हैं. ठीक है? कितना हो गया? 5 minus 3, 2. So you are going to divide this distance A and B into 2 equal parts. Equal होते हैं सारे. ये नहीं कि इधर छोटा इधर बड़ा. And you will extend B same part 3 ahead. And where B is going to stop, I mean जिधर B का उधर खत्म होगा, this is where they're going to meet. So that B covers 3 units and A eventually covers 4 units. ये यहां पर मिलने वाले हैं. And vice versa is देखो अभी क्या कर रहे हैं? I'm telling you the speeds का ratio and we are looking at where they are meeting. इसका उल्टा भी यही इतना ही simple है. If I tell you what distance they had to cover, then they met, तो जो distance दिख रहा है उसी को speed मान लेते हैं. और ये हमेशा होता है. जैसे A इधर है, B इधर है, and they were traveling like this. And they met here. इधर को मिला. And it was given, ये पहले से given है कि A had to travel 150 meters and B had to travel 120 meters to meet. Okay, and they were traveling obviously towards that flag. मेरे को A और B का speed पता करना है. Time नहीं given. मेरे को speed पता करना है. So they of course you cannot calculate the actual speed, but the ratio of the speeds you can calculate. So ये 150 और 120 है ना, यही speed है. If you're not comfortable with such huge numbers, simplify it. Their speeds are in the ratio of 5:4. And it doesn't matter कि A straight गया है. Suppose straight की जगह पर had A moved in a zigzag format और B straight गया था. So A ऐसे ऐसे चला था. But I do know that the total distance is 150 only. What is the ratio of their speeds? 5:4. In all of these types that we are looking at, there is one word which is very important. In the question, it must be given that the bodies, they start moving simultaneously. Same moment शुरू होंगे, तो ये हमेशा होगा. And I believe you guys must have always come across questions when bodies started moving simultaneously. You have got very few questions. एक या दो टाइप के questions है when bodies don't start moving simultaneously. उसमें भी दिक्कत नहीं है. We will make them move simultaneously. Third scenario. A is over here. B is also at the same point. पर मैं उसी पे ड्रॉ करूंगा. You won't be able to see it, right? तो थोड़ा नीचे ड्रॉ कर दिया. Now, A and B, they both are moving in the same direction and they have to meet. So, ध्यान से सुनो. ये एक प्रॉब्लम है जिसको आपको सॉल्व करना है. It's not a TSD problem. It's a common sense problem. Two people are at the same point. They're moving in the same direction and they have to meet. Will they ever meet if they continue in the same direction? नहीं. A तो आगे भाग गया. His speed is much more than B. But if I forcefully ask you कि नहीं उनको मिलना ही पड़ेगा, then you'd be like, sir, they will meet if A takes a U-turn आगे से ना. If A takes a U-turn, he will meet B. So this is the case of U-turn. So कितना आगे जाके A will be taking a U-turn? Because if B takes a U-turn, वो A से नहीं मिलेगा. Common sense है, no TSD logic. Common sense. A and B, A भाग गया. B U-turn लेके क्या कर लेगा? So the guy who is faster when he is already ahead will only take a U-turn, है ना? So what do we do in such a case? तो अपन क्या करते हैं? हम मान लेते हैं कि इधर से U-turn लिया. What is that distance? Like I said before, पहले से बोलते आ रहा हूँ, distance से कोई लेना देना नहीं. हाँ, if they give us the distance, ठीक है. If they don't give us, we are not crippled. We can still solve it. Then what you will do is you will take the average of 5 and 3. Average, basic average, 5 plus 3 divided by 2. And you are going to divide the entire segment into those many equal parts. 4 equal parts में divide कर लो. Now, B को इधर से 3 चलना है. So, B will travel 1, 2, 3 and A will travel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. इधर से U-turn मारा. This was to help you understand. This is where they are going to meet. So if we knew कि A कितना आगे से U-turn मारने वाला है, so I know exactly from the starting point where they are going to meet. और जिधर से भी U-turn मारा था उधर से कितनी दूरी पे मिलेगा, right? So this is the third scenario where U-turn का starting होता है. Okay. Fourth scenario. Fourth scenario is going to be U-turn का ही है. ठीक है, कॉमन सेंस लगाना. A is over here, B is over here, the speed of B is 3, speed of A is 5, but they are moving in the opposite direction by A इधर को जा रहा, B इधर को जा रहा. And now I'm asking you to find an approach, draw a drawing so that A eventually meets B. A को B को मिलना है. कॉमन सेंस लगाना again, TSD USD नहीं, कोई वेरिएबल कुछ नहीं. So you're thinking कि one body is moving in this direction, another body is moving in this direction. ये जल्दी भागता है, ये धीरे भागता है, कभी नहीं मिलेंगे. ये उधर जा रहा, ये इधर जा रहा. Now, if they want to meet, one of them will have to take a U-turn. If this slower guy is going like this, faster guy is going like this, if this slower guy takes a U-turn, तो ये तो फिर वैसे ही chase हो जाएगा. Faster guy is moving ahead and B is trying to catch up. So if B takes a U-turn, it will not make sense. Common sense लगाओगे, you will realize the faster guy will have to take a U-turn. So 5 को U-turn करना है. So what will you do in this case is look at B again. इसको आप 3 equal parts में divide कर दो. B का 3 है ना, like previous U-turn में इधर 3 है, तो 3 equal parts. So 3 equal parts, I am going to divide it like this. A कितना पीछे जाके U-turn लेगा? So 5 minus 3 by 2. 5 minus 3 is 2, 2 by 2 is 1. That means you will be taking 1 unit in the direction of A. एक ही. Now what will be the trajectory? कैसा दिखेगा? B will move 3 and A will be moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and this is where they're going to meet. So if two bodies start from the same point but they're not moving in the same but opposite direction, तो आप क्या करते हो? आप लेते हो 5 minus 3 by 2, ये इतने आगे से U-turn मारेगा. In this case 5 plus 3 by 2, ये इतने आगे से U-turn मारेगा. Okay, if they are moving in the same direction. If there is no U-turn involved, so in how many equal parts shall I divide the distance between A and B? 5 plus 3 equal parts. If they are moving in the same direction, then in how many equal parts shall I divide the distance between A and B? 5 minus 3. So drawing बनाना ही है तो ऐसा बनाओ जहां पर कि we know at every instance where they are. किधर से U-turn मारा, किधर को मिलेंगे, and so on and so forth. These 4 cases of TSD will help you solve any question. जितना भी आपने TSD में आज तक struggle करा. You can have scenarios where they don't start from a same point, but थोड़ा दूर से शुरू कर रहे हैं. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. वैसे ही करो कि इसको 3 चलना है, ये जल्दी से पीछे जाएगा. Right? Anyways, CAT में they do not ask you such questions. What are the type of question do we have in case of TSD wherein we can use some shortcut in the formula? So you guys must have come across such questions जहां पर कि so 4 types done, okay? TSD का basic done. There is a question where are 2 points, let's say the points are P and Q. इधर से एक ट्रेन चल रही है, एक बंदा चल रहा है, there is a car, there is a bicycle, I don't know, and the speed of this is given as let's say 10 kilometers per hour, 10 meters per hour, जो भी हो, ठीक है? नहीं, I shouldn't give you this example, थोड़ा real वाला ही देते हैं. So A starts from here, let's say at 8 a.m. and it reaches Q at 6 p.m. ये है हमारे पास. From point Q, there is another body B that starts at 8 a.m. and it reaches P, let's say at 11 p.m. We need to find out at what time they are going to meet. ठीक है? कहां मीट कर रहे हैं वो भी निकाल सकते हैं, कब मीट कर रहे हैं वो भी निकाल सकते हैं. ठीक है? PQ length is not given, so we can't calculate exact meters or kilometers, but we can calculate कि इस लाइन में किस fraction of the part में from either P or Q they're going to meet. So in such question what you do is you find कि एक बंदा कितना टाइम ले रहा है. 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. is 10 hours. दूसरा बंदा कितना टाइम ले रहा है? 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. is 15 hours. Then they are going to meet in 10 into 15 by 10 plus 15 hours. So this is a formula which is AB upon A plus B. So 6 घंटे के बाद ये मिलेंगे. 6 घंटे के बाद as in किस टाइम से? 8 o'clock से. ठीक है? So from 8 o'clock, 6 hours later, they are going to meet at, that is going to be 2 p.m. So ये वाला एक question हो जाता है. You may have also come across a question where they do not start from the same point, the one that I was telling you before, कि हमेशा simultaneous तो होता नहीं है, पर बहुत कम questions हैं where the simultaneous doesn't happen. So A starts at 8 a.m. and it reaches there at, let's say, 6 p.m. and B starts from the other end at, let's say, 10 a.m. and it reaches there at, let's say, 12 a.m. ठीक है? Now here they do not start at the same instance, right? 2 घंटे का interval है. तो अभी क्या कर सकते हैं? We can solve it in 2 different ways. Okay, one method I guess you guys are aware of कि you know you will let A move for 2 hours और solve कर लेंगे. The other approach is somewhat to the same extent, but I'm going to use the same formula again. पर उसके लिए I will have to make sure they start at the same time. So either you let A move for 2 hours or you let B start 2 hours earlier. मतलब वो पीछे से चालू हुआ होगा. So you start with the assumption of distance. What is the distance? कुछ भी ले लो. हमारे मूड के ऊपर है. That's not given, no? Whenever something is not given, you take whatever you feel like. हाँ, whatever they are asking, उसको कुछ भी अपने मन से मत ले लो. ठीक है? Unless and until ratio is involved. If ratio is involved, you can take anything as you feel like. So 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. this is a 10 hours journey, and 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. this is going to be a 14 hours journey. So to make the calculation easier, I will take the distance to be product or LCM or any multiple of 10 and 14. LCM हर बार जरूरी नहीं होता है. आप 10 into 14 ले लो distance, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा. So the distance is going to be 10 into 14 kilometers. 140 kilometers distance है अभी फिलहाल. Now 140 kilometers is the distance and A takes 10 hours. So speed of A is 14 kilometer per hour. B takes 14 hours to cover 140 kilometers. So the speed of B is 10 kilometers per hour. अब क्या करेंगे? B को बोलते हैं कि यार तू 10 o'clock शुरू हुआ था ना, तू 10 o'clock मत शुरू हो, तू ना 8 o'clock शुरू हो. If B is going to start at 8 o'clock, how much extra distance is B going to cover? Can I say 10 की speed से 2 hours का journey? So this is going to be 20 kilometers. Right? Now, what is the distance between them? कितने बजे मिलेंगे ये निकाल लेते हैं. Distance between them is 10 into 14 plus 20, right? Or I can say 160 kilometers divided by sum of their speeds, sum of the time. कुछ देखो 10 plus 14 करो या 14 plus 10 करो, doesn't matter, right? So 160 divided by 24, which is going to be 16, 8, तो ये 3 हो जाएगा और ये 20 हो जाएगा. So 20 by 3 hours later. Now 20 by 3 hours later after what time? इस example में. Is it after 10 a.m. or is it after 8 a.m.? It will be after 8 a.m. Right? If I had made A travel for 2 hours because A departed earlier than B, तो उस केस में from 10 a.m. we will be using the answer, but उसमें फिर answer 20 by 3 नहीं आ रहा होता. So these are the two scenarios only where you will either the bodies will start at the same time या different time. इसके अलावा क्या हो सकता है भाई? या तो same time शुरू होगा या अलग अलग time पे, right? So these are the cases where we deal with linear. Okay. Then comes in circular. So circular में क्या होता है? Pardon my drawing. So the bodies are going to move in the same direction or they are going to move in the opposite direction. These are the two scenarios. ठीक है? And इसके variants होते हैं. And initially we are going to deal with two bodies. So if we have a circular racetrack and there are two people, let's say A and B, speed of A is let's say 7 meter, kilometer, nahi pata, length of the track, I don't care. And speed of B is let's say 4 and they're moving in the same direction. तो आपका पहला task है at how many points they are going to meet. So what you do is you take the difference of 7 and 4. इतने points पे meet करने वाले. इतने times नहीं. They are going to meet at these many points. And these points are going to be symmetrical. Out of which 1 point starting point तो done deal है. And if I have to draw 2 more points, ऐसे बना देंगे. Right? Equidistant. Then, if you are practicing, so name the points as P, Q and R. Which is their first meeting point? ये आपका next phase है to understand. So whichever is the smaller speed, उसको पकड़ लो. 7 and 4 में से कौन सा छोटा नंबर है? 4. तो pick 4. और ऐसे चलो clockwise, same direction जो arrow बना रहा है. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Q becomes your first meeting point. ऐसे चलो 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ऐसे. Once you reach Q, तो ऐसे now try to understand it in this way. If you started from P, you end up at Q. So can I say जिधर से चालू हुए उसका next वाले point पे रुके नहीं. They are going to meet. These are the meeting points I'm talking about. Q is their first meeting point. As in both A and B are there at Q first time. When they are together here, तो इसको वापस ऊपर खींच लो. If Q is now from where they're going to start, which will be their next meeting point? उसके बाद वाला point. So the next point will become R. R के बाद P. P के बाद फिर क्या होगा? Back to Q, back to R, back to P, and this will continue. So if the question is, which is their second meeting point? R. Which is their 10th meeting point? 10th मतलब 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, 9 हो गया. 10th is back to Q. या फिर sequences and series में, which is the 10th letter from here? QRP में 10वां लेटर कौन सा होगा? Q होगा ना? तो वैसे उसको assume कर लो. Third thing that you should understand. If they give us the length of the track, or if they give us when A was here, where was B? If B has covered these many laps, how many laps has A covered? Or let's say if they have met for 13th time, what is the difference in their distances covered? And so forth. मतलब दुनिया का कोई भी क्वेश्चन पूछ दिया जाए, you only need one thing. पहले बंदे का स्पीड, दूसरे बंदे का स्पीड, और ये नंबर ऑफ मीटिंग पॉइंट्स. So this is your golden ratio, as in I call it golden ratio. Why golden? क्योंकि ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, मतलब आयरन सिल्वर गोल्ड, गोल्डन रेशियो, या फिर इसको आप मैजिक वैंड बोल सकते हो। मतलब इसको यूज करके आई कैन सॉल्व एनी क्वेश्चन ऑन सर्कुलर रेसेस, इस तरह का। What is this 7? 7 is anything about A. Anything मतलब of course distance and speed, time नहीं है इधर। What is 4? 4 is anything about B. And what is 3? 3 is any relative thing about A and B. मतलब A और B का relative ढूंढना है, तो A B use, मतलब last proportion you're going to use, or I can say that this has to do with number of meeting points. ये तीन यूज करके यू कैन सॉल्व एनी इजी, एनी डिफिकल्ट, एनी नंबर ऑफ पीपल आर इन्वॉल्व, एनी क्वेश्चन, ठीक है। ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन, ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में क्या होता है, थिंग्स चेंज अ बिट, नॉट बाय अ लॉट, थोड़ा सा चेंज आता है। सपोज A is moving in this direction, I'm changing the ratio so that it becomes easier. So A moves in this direction at the speed of 3, B moves in this direction at the speed of 2, and we need to find out at how many distinct points they are going to meet. So what you do is you add their speeds. Please remember, when I'm saying you add their speeds, I've already simplified the speeds. Then you add. उधर 30-20 में 30 plus 20 मत कर देना. Simplify 30 and 20 as in take the ratio and then add or subtract. So they are going to meet at 5 points. ठीक है, ये पहला चीज हो गया। सो 5 पॉइंट सिमेट्रिकल बनाएंगे, 1 2 3 4 5, देन नेम द पॉइंट्स एज P Q R S T। नाउ आई नीड टू फाइंड आउट व्हिच इज देयर फर्स्ट मीटिंग पॉइंट, इज इट T, इज इट Q, इज इट R, इज इट S, इज इट P। तो ये ना, इट्स नॉट कंपल्सरी दैट जिधर से शुरू हो रहा है, द पॉइंट वे देयर स्टार्टिंग व्हिच इज P, द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इटसेल्फ इज देयर फर्स्ट मीटिंग पॉइंट। इस ड्रीम में मत रहना, दिस इज रॉन्ग, दे मे बी, दे मे नॉट बी, वी डोंट नो। सो अगेन, लाइक वी डिड इन द सेम डायरेक्शन सिनेरियो, वी आर गोइंग टू यूज द सेम थिंग हियर। वी विल पिक द स्मॉलर वन, क्योंकि बड़े वाले में ज्यादा घूमना पड़ेगा, तो छोटा वाला नंबर थोड़ा थोड़ा घूमेंगे। सो आई विल पिक B. सो B इज सपोज टू मूव 2 यूनिट्स, तो B को 2 यूनिट्स मूव करो एंटी क्लॉकवाइज, P to T दैट इज 1, T to S इज सेकेंड। रुक जाओ, S इज द फर्स्ट मीटिंग पॉइंट, फिर S से 2 उल्टा चलो, S to R, R to Q, Q is your second, Q to P, P to T third, T to S, S to R fourth, R to Q, Q to P fifth। P पे जब पहुंच जाओगे, when you will again get back to P, the same sequence will repeat. Anyways, there are 5 points, no? I have written down all those 5 letters. अब कौन सा लिखेंगे, वापस से S चलेगा, because they are going to be always cyclic in nature, literally cyclic, cycle ही बना हुआ इधर। So this is the sequence of the points. Now if somebody asks me which is the third meeting point, so I will look at this and see what the third letter is from the beginning. If somebody asks me which is the 13th letter, तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ 5 लेटर पे वापस P आता है, 5th पे वापस P आता है, तो third is back to T, or it's a sequence वाला, sequences and series वाला question, which is the 13th letter from the left, right? Okay. What is the golden ratio for this? The golden ratio for this is, you will take their speeds 3, 2, you will take their difference and then you will take the sum. 4 proportion हो जाते हैं in the case of opposite. What is this 3 about? 3 is all about A, 2 is all about B, 1 is all about relative performance of theirs, and 5 is all about number of meeting points. As in, the 1 proportion in the case of same direction में 3 used to denote 2 things, relative as well as meeting points. ये break होके 2 अलग अलग proportion में चला जाता है in the case of opposite direction. And same, as I can solve any question asked in the case of circular races, same direction, I can solve any question in the opposite direction का circular races, just by using the ratio, golden ratio, मैजिक वांट, कुछ भी जो भी इंटरेस्टिंग है जिससे याद रख सको वो यूज कर लो। ओके, गिव मी अ मोमेंट। ओके, व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन वी हैव मोर पीपल? Suppose we have 3 people when we have 4 people, right? Then how do we deal with them? Circular races में. So let's say we have 3 people का example. Okay, and let's say they start from here. I don't know if you guys can see this. So there are 3 people running here. One is A, who's moving in this direction anti-clockwise at the speed of 5. There is another guy B who is moving at the speed of 2 in the anti-clockwise, and then there is another guy C who is moving in the clockwise direction at the speed of 1. And I need to find out at how many different points on the track all 3 will meet simultaneously. देखो, ऐसा तो कभी कभी होगा जब A and B will be together but C is not together, or when B and C are together A कहीं और होगा. We need to only find out those points where all 3 are simultaneously present at that moment. So what you do is you take pairs A and B को देख के check करो at how many distinct points they are going to meet. So 5 minus 2 because they are moving in the same direction, right? So 3 points पे meet करेंगे. Then you take next pair A के साथ बना लेते हैं A and C, 5 and 1, but A का is whatever direction, C का is opposite direction. So it's going to be 5 plus 1. So this is going to be 6 points. Then you take the HCF of these two numbers. 3 and 6 ka HCF is 3. So they're going to meet at 3 different points. And what will be those 3 different points? They are going to be symmetrical. No doubt. ये कभी change नहीं होने वाला. Symmetrical ही होंगे हमेशा. Now, which will be their first meeting point? छोटे वाले बंदे को पकड़ो. छोटा as in the one who is slower, whose number is lesser, right? C moves like this. The first point it will come across will be Q after one segment travel. Then R, then P. So ये QRP ऐसे चलते रहेगा. And if you guys have ever come across such questions when you have more than 2 people, you may not have seen a question which was beyond this, right? Number of meeting points या A और B एक जगह है, C किधर है, वही करना होता है. Okay. What else do we have in circular? See, there can be a lot of miscellaneous type questions, right? Whenever they meet, they change their directions. Whenever they meet, they exchange their speeds and so on and so forth. Limited scenarios, पर वो miscellaneous types हैं. हाँ. Sometimes you come across a question where they do not start from the same point. ठीक है? Suppose A is here. A is going to move at the speed of 5 और B यहाँ कहीं है. What is this distance? कुछ given है. I don't know. And B is moving clockwise at the speed of 3. इसको एक काम करता हूँ, मैं एंटी क्लॉकवाइज कर देता हूँ. And we need to find out at how many distinct points are they going to meet, and वो पहला meeting point कौन सा होगा, second कौन सा होगा. So in such a question, you guys must have seen that they always tell you the length of the track. या फिर ये बता देंगे that the length of the track is at least 200 meters. क्योंकि उससे कम में there will be some issues, right? So right now when they are moving in the opposite direction and they are not at the same point, तो याद है first 4 basics of TSD? Moving in the opposite direction in a straight line, moving in the same direction in a straight line, starting from the same point, and a U-turn when moving in the same direction, U-turn when they're moving in the opposite direction. यही 4 में से कुछ करेगा यहाँ पे help. So treat A and B, they're moving in a straight line and not a curved path. So we know that we will have to divide this entire part into 8 equal parts, 5 plus 3. तो इसको 8 equal parts में आप divide कर लो. If the entire distance is given, you would know exactly where they're going to meet. So once we divide this, तो B का 1, 2, 3. So this is where they're going to meet first time. और जब वो वहां पहुंच जाएंगे, उसके बाद वापस से वही कहानी, opposite direction. This is their first meeting point now. Now 5 plus 3 is 8. So they are supposed to meet at 8 distinct points. So redraw a triangle. I have no idea where these points are going to be. ये इधर होगा, बीच में होगा, overlap करेगा. I have no idea, and you shouldn't be worried about that. So this is your P, then this is Q, this is R, S, T, U, V, and then you will have W. So the first meeting point is obviously P, and then B को follow करेंगे. So 1, 2, 3. S is your next meeting point, V is your next, Q is your next, T is your next, W, and then R, and then U, and back to P, and this continues. ये जो 8 points हैं, each one will be given a chance to appear. If they both were moving in the same direction, तो same direction में linear समझ के see when A will catch up with B. The moment it catches up, that is their first meeting point, and then you continue. So you can divide it into two parts. एक linear की तरह treat करके find out, then you move to circular का normal. Right? Okay. After this comes in to and fro. The most difficult one that you guys may have come across. होता है ना? There is a swimming pool. They both jump and then they swim. How many times will they meet and so on? So the chances of to and fro question to come in the exam is extremely rare. ठीक है? अच्छा हाँ, one more thing. Suppose if you ever come across a question where the track is not circular in length, but it's let's say a regular pentagon or a regular hexagon, मतलब कुछ और regular figure, don't worry. Convert that regular hexagon into a circle and solve. Convert that regular pentagon into a circle and solve. Don't worry about the shape of the figure. It has to be symmetrical. That's more important. Okay, back to and fro. So in the case, chances of coming to and fro in any exam is extremely rare, क्योंकि ये आसान है नहीं. And even the people who make the question papers, CAT or ZAT का, they know that not everybody is comfortable with that level. To and fro is not difficult. Okay, it's just that it's difficult to understand. Okay, so in the case of to and fro, you have got only 4 possibilities. इसके अलावा और कुछ नहीं होता. If you remember these 4, you can solve any question on to and fro. So पहला होता है that this is a swimming pool or this is the place where they are going to, swim. या फिर they are going to race between these two. And both the people are at the same end. ठीक है? And same end में the next part is common sense. See, when you have two numbers and they are already simplified after taking the ratio, it's only possible if both are odd या फिर एक even एक odd होगा. You can't have both the evens. If both are even, मतलब आपने simplify करा नहीं है ना? So if both are odd, suppose A speed is 5 and B speed is 3, this is the first scenario. The second scenario is they start from the same point, but इनमें से एक का even है, दूसरे का odd है. तो A का मैं 5 ले लेता हूं और B का 2 ले लेता हूं. Means it has got nothing to do with the length of the track. It has got nothing to do with किस number पे काम कर रहे हैं. It has got only to do with odd and odd even. Now, the next part you will have to understand. If A has to move 5 laps, lap मतलब इस point से इस point को एक lap बोलते हैं. In the case of circular races, from the starting point back to the starting point is considered as a lap. ठीक है? So if A has to move from one end to the other laps, so A 5 lap cover करेगा. Follow it. A is going to cover 5 laps. What will 5 laps look like? 5 laps of A will look like 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, मेरे को थोड़ा और close draw करना चाहिए था. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's draw the 3 laps of B. The 3 laps of B are going to be 1, 2, 3. So what we realize is that A and B were at the same end point and they both had their speeds, simplified speeds in odd and odd part. When A will cover 5 laps and B will cover 3, they both will change their endpoints. मतलब A और B लेफ्ट से शुरू हुआ था ना, अब राइट को पहुंच गया. देखो दोनों का लास्ट एरो उधर ही है ना? Now A and B are at the other end. Now A will again move 5 and B will move 3. They will come back to the left hand side. This will keep on happening. And while this is happening, A will never meet B in his first lap, but will meet B every single time. Don't look at B. B को मत देखो. जो तेज है उसको देखो ना. जो तेज दौड़ रहा है उस पे ध्यान दो कितनी बार हाई फाइव करता है. Whenever it crosses B, it will give him a high five, and without crossing, it can't reach the other end, right? So out of every 5 laps of A will cross or meet B 4 times. फिर अगले 5 laps में फिर से 4 times, अगले 5 laps में फिर से 4 times, and this will continue. So it all comes down to कितने lap कर रहे हैं, right? Generally that is given or indirectly given in the question. Now, if I deal with this second wala type where one speed is even, the other is odd. So A will be covering 5 laps. So you take 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and B will cover 2. What you will realize in this scenario is A and B, even though they started from the same point, by the time A covers 5 and B covers 2, B तो उधर ही है पर A दूसरे एंड पे पहुंच जाता है. Why? Think about this. You have to take even number of laps. Even number of laps means you will always come back to the point where you started. And odd का मतलब switch कर जाना. You are at the doorstep. Doorstep के एक साइड पे हो. आपको 3 बार jump करोगे. One time you will jump, second time you will jump, third time you will jump, and you're like, oh, मैं घर के बाहर निकल गया. It's obvious you will change the point, right? You will change the place you were. So when this happens, then A will not be in any of his meeting point as in his first lap. First lap में तो नहीं मिलने वाले, क्योंकि A already निकल गया ना. A is faster. Think about it. A and B, they both are going to start their first lap. A ये fast दौड़ेगा. A निकल गया. By the time A reaches his end point, A never met B. Starting point is never considered as the meeting point, right? First meeting point. So यहाँ तो नहीं मिलेगा, and then A will meet B every single time. What will happen right after this? Right after this, can I say A and B are at the other ends? तो हम लोग अब चल रहे हैं third case पे. Third case happens to be when two bodies, one of them has an odd speed, another has an even speed, and they start from the other endpoints. Same वाला तो देख लिया ना हमने, अब opposite end से देखते हैं. If I look at the opposite end वाला scenario, A is again going to cover 5 laps and is going to move over to B, while B will sorry, I should have chosen A को दूसरे side so that you can keep a continuation. Sorry, B को left में ही रखते हैं. Okay, so the third scenario is B is going to be here, whose speed is 2, और A जो है वो दूसरे end से at the speed of 5 it's moving. Opposite ends, odd and even combo. So B will cover 2, come back to his place, while A will cover 5 and will switch his point. He's not on the right anymore, he will be on the left. When this happens, look at A and look at B. A and B आ रहे हैं. आपको लगता है कि A B को बिना मिले जाएगा अपने पहले लैप में? A has to cross B, then only A will reach. Now A and B, they will meet in every lap of A. Don't look at B. छोटे सिंपल वाले को जो धीरे धीरे चल रहा है उसको तो A सामने से भी हाई फाइव देके जा रहा है और पीछे से थपकी भी देके जा रहा है. So छोटे वाले का, and this smaller guy, sorry, this lower guy, it's very difficult to keep track of how many times he is meeting A. It's better to keep track of the faster guy meeting the slower guy, right? So 5 times he will meet. Once they both are at the same endpoints, the cycle continues, right? अगले 5 में फिर 4 बार ही मिलेगा, 5 बार नहीं मिलेगा. And next 5 laps of A, again they will meet 5 times. Next 5 laps of A meet only 4 times, and this continues. It depends on how many laps are we dealing with. Last case, the fourth one is if they both are odd and they start from the other end. Okay? So A starts from here at the speed of 5 and B starts from here at the speed of 3 and they are moving towards each other. So A का 5 होगा 1, 2, 3, 4 और ये 5th. B का होगा 1, 2 and 3. A and B are at the other endpoints. Their speeds are odd both. If they are going to come towards each other, unless and until they don't meet, they won't reach their endpoints. यानी कि A B को अपने पहले पे भी मिलेगा, दूसरे पे भी मिलेगा, तीसरे पे भी, चौथे पे भी पहुंचेगा every time. Now once this happens, A is here, B is here, same logic, mirror image. A will move 5, B will move 3, A will again meet B in his every 5 laps. इन 4 के अलावा to and fro का कोई और लॉजिक, कोई और कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं. The only question that you have to stay away from is if ever you are asked a question कि what is the time taken for them to meet. टाइम पूछ लिया ना तो मत करो solve. It's not an easy task. Within these 4, you further have 2 cases, and depending upon those 2 cases, one is relatively easier, one is very lengthy. Very lengthy मतलब बहुत 10 मिनट लग जाएंगे. So if time is asked, don't attempt that part. If how many times they are meeting, go ahead. So this is all we have in time, speed and distance. Next we have is time and work. So time and work is very, very straightforward. You should be very much comfortable with working with efficiencies of people, because if you know efficiencies, as in you know how many units of work they are doing every day or every hour, you know exactly what payment they will be receiving. You know exactly, and a fraction of work or a fraction of duration, what amount of work they will be doing and vice versa. So if A takes A hours to finish, B takes B hours to finish a particular work, then together they will take, the formula is simply AB upon A plus B. Okay? If we have more than 2 people, if you have 3 people, तो 2 का together निकालो इस formula से, इस answer का फिर इसके साथ together. Keep on doing the same calculation successively. If together is an integer, if it is an integer, then if they work for alternate duration, the time they will take will be 2 times of AB upon A plus B, and it doesn't matter who start. Else it will matter. अब ये जो इंटीजर ऑल्टरनेट वगैरह लिखा है इसका मतलब क्या है? So what I mean by this is, suppose you are given a question that A completes some work in 20 hours and B completes the same work in 30 hours. So if they work for alternate hours, कितने घंटे में काम खत्म हो जाएगा? Now if they are going to work for alternate hours, there are 2 possibilities. A starts तो कितना टाइम, B starts तो कितना टाइम. So if A starts, then how much time they are going to take, and if B starts, then how much time they are going to take. So what I meant by this entire thing was, आप A और B का together निकाल लो using the formula 20 into 30 upon 20 plus 30. So this is 600 by 50, so this is 12 hours. क्या 12 एक integer है और point में? It's an integer, right? So the answer is 24 hours and it doesn't matter who starts. Suppose ये together integer में नहीं होता. Suppose it turned out to be 12.2 आता, suppose. Then whether A starts or B starts, it matters. And since there are two people, that's why alternate hours will be double of together. If there had been three people, then alternate hours will be 3 times of together, and so on and so forth. n लोग होंगे तो वो होगा, और ये हमेशा applicable है only when together is an integer. If it's not, तो भाई order बहुत फर्क पड़ता है, ठीक है. But it is going to be any day closer to twice. 24 के आसपास ही होगा, ठीक है, if the answer is 12.2 eventually. So this is one thing. The second thing in this scenario is कि sometimes you may have come across a question where it is given that A takes T plus 4 hours to finish some work, B takes T plus 6 hours to finish some work, and then it is given that together they take T hours to finish some work. Language कुछ ऐसा होता है. Let me help you remind it. A takes 4 hours more and B takes 6 hours less individually to finish a work which they could together complete, which they complete together. So if they complete together certain amount of work in some hours, then the same work, if A does, he takes 4 hours more, and if B does, he takes 6 hours less, right? तो इसको अगर solve करना है, we already know the formula, no? T plus 4 into T plus 6. अच्छा, इसको 6 नहीं कर रहा हूँ. I'm going to change this to a different number. So T plus 9 कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है? There is a reason why I took 9. T plus 4 into T plus 9 divided by T plus 4 plus T plus 9, right? Using that formula, and this is equal to T, it's given. मेरे को T निकालना है इधर से. So the numerator here is going to be T square plus 4 into 9 plus 4 plus 9 into T. And if I cross multiply by adding, I will get 2T into T plus 4 plus 9 into T. 4 plus 9 into T चला गया, T square भी एक चला गया. So you get T square is equal to 4 into 9, or you will get T is equal to geometric mean of 4 and 9, which is something we do not come across very often, right? Geometric mean बहुत कम questions में use हो पाता है. This is one of those questions. So if you want to find out what T is, it's going to be geometric mean of the extra duration they individually took. Okay? If there are 3 people, तीनों का geometric mean. 4 लोग, चारों का geometric mean. So T will be the geometric mean of these durations. So I just proved it. Why is it so? So that you can use it. You should be very, very quick with conversion from duration to efficiency. ये काफी critical part हो जाता है in time and work. It's given, no, sometimes that A takes twice the time taken by B to complete the same amount of work. तो efficiency क्या हो जाएगा? Half. So जो भी number है, जो भी fraction है, अगर ये duration है, तो ये efficiency है. So when I said 2, the understood part was 2 by 1. ये duration है, the efficiency will become 1 by 2. So if something becomes 3 times, उल्टा जाओगे तो 1 by 3. क्योंकि जब 3 बोलते हैं तो 3 by 1 बोलते नहीं है, पर ये समझ में आना चाहिए, right? So duration to efficiency, if you convert, you know the efficiencies and you can proceed. When you have questions related to pipes and cisterns, so when there is an outlet pipe, you take their efficiency as negative. That's all you have to do. and the same calculation will follow through. कि अगर given है that the inlet fills in 10 hours and outlet empties the same container, same tank in let's say 12 hours, तो टुगेदर कितने देर में करेंगे? तो आपको कुछ नहीं करना है. इनलेट मतलब पॉजिटिव, आउटलेट मतलब नेगेटिव. सो डू 10 into -12 divided by 10 plus -12. सेम फॉर्मूला, AB upon A plus B. इफ योर फाइनल आंसर इज पॉजिटिव मतलब फिल हो जाएगा. इफ योर फाइनल आंसर इज नेगेटिव मतलब एम्प्टी हो जाएगा. कितने देर में? द नंबर दैट यू सी beside it. So -120 by -2, so this is +60. तो 60 में प्लस है ना, तो it will get filled in 60 hours. Otherwise you work with efficiencies, right? हाँ, TSD में you do have questions related to upstream, downstream and escalators. Escalators is one topic again which a lot of you are not comfortable with. Upstream, downstream तो थोड़ा चलता भी है. They both are the same thing. If you are dealing with upstream or downstream based questions, तीन चीजें होती हैं: speed of boat, speed of river, actually चार चीजें होती हैं: distance and time. Upstream is given as distance divided by speed of boat minus speed of river, and time downstream is given as distance upon speed of boat plus speed of river. ये upstream downstream की जगह if I simply use escalators, तो आपको तीन चीजें होंगी: speed of man, speed of escalator and number of steps. So time along the escalator will become number of steps divided by speed of man minus speed of escalator. Time against will become number of steps divided by speed of man plus speed of escalator. एक सेकेंड, उल्टा लिख दिया, इधर प्लस होगा एंड दिस शुड बी माइनस. अगेंस्ट मीन्स अपस्ट्रीम की तरह हो गया ना. You have to overcome the stream. Here you have to overcome the escalators that are crossing you. So you will find that the formulas are same भाई. कुछ नया formula तो है नहीं. पर फिर भी हमसे escalators के questions we are not comfortable with. Sometimes we don't understand even the language and we don't know what to do. It's merely because of two reasons. First reason, we have used escalators in our life. We never have actually got into the details कि कितना टाइम लगेगा, कितना टाइम. We just have to, use the escalator, right? We have never solved such questions before. Second is, actually these two formulas are not going to help you. अगर आप इसको use करने वाले हो, even though the formulas are same, not going to help. So what formula do we use? The formula for along the escalator is taken as number of steps is equal to number of steps by man plus number of steps by escalator. And against में, it's about number of steps on the escalator is equal to number of steps by man minus number of steps by escalator. आपको ये करना पड़ेगा, तब सॉल्व होंगे क्वेश्चंस. The only thing that you have to be concerned or you should be careful about in questions on escalators while using this formula is that the duration, जितने टाइम के लिए man has been covering the steps on the escalator, for the same duration escalator should be moving. So it's like escalator move कर रहा है, बंदा इधर खड़ा है. Escalator move कर रहा है, बंदा इधर खड़ा है. So actually escalator को रोक देंगे. Will be like, escalator, you need to take a pause, man. The moment you step, then we will switch on the escalator. So the moment the man steps on the escalator is switched on and the escalator will keep on moving. Man will also keep on moving along with it. And the moment man comes out of the escalator, we will switch off the escalator. So what is constant? The constant part over here is the duration for which the man was on the escalator, as in man was walking. Stationary खड़ा हो या चल रहा हो, I don't care. And the duration for which the escalator was also moving. ये same होना बहुत जरूरी है. And actually if you come across questions, they are always same. Sometimes they explicitly tell you in the question, sometimes they hide it behind words. So time for which man and escalator move should be same. मतलब आप जब सॉल्व कर रहे होगे तो ये ध्यान देना कि मैन अगर 20 स्टेप्स चला है कुछ 10 सेकेंड्स में, तो एस्केलेटर उस सेम 10 सेकेंड्स में कितना स्टेप्स मूव किया, नॉट 20 सेकेंड्स में, 30 सेकेंड्स में, सेम 10 सेकेंड्स में. ओके ओके. Is there anything that I am missing? If you guys can confirm. Sure, Varun, you can contact me after the exam. I mean, definitely contact me. If I'm not picking up the call, maybe I'm driving. So in that case, drop me a text. Okay. So I believe I covered almost everything in arithmetic, and there is not much left. So this is what we have. On the CAT day at 12:30 p.m. we will have the detailed analysis of slot 1. Slot 2 का detailed analysis will come at 4:30. At 8:30 p.m. slot 3 का detailed analysis. We'll be discussing section wise analysis. We will be presenting you with CAT score calculator. So there we'll give you the link on YouTube. You can click on it. You can put in whatever options you had actually made, and it will predict what percentile you are going to get. And that percentile is going to be pretty accurate. Not exact, but pretty accurate. Matlab, if it says you are going to get 97.5 percentile, then actually you may get 97.4 to 97.6. 1 to 1.5 percentile upar niche, that's it. Not beyond that. So it's going to be pretty accurate. We will also discuss questions, whatever we can remember, right? We can't write anything. So when we go to write the exam, after we are done with the exam, we try to mug up the questions, or we try to remember which all questions we have. तो आपको तो केवल एग्जाम सॉल्व करना होता है, हमें सॉल्व करके याद भी करना होता है. ठीक है. सो दिस इज वेयर यू गाइस विल बी एबल टू हेल्प अस अ लॉट. If you forget any particular question or the value in a question, you can tell us. Of course, we are going to discuss the question in a different way. I will not tell you the exact question. I'll change the data. I'll tell you कि ऐसा कुछ question था, ये answer था. ठीक है? Because we cannot replicate the actual CAT questions. We'll also tell you the expected cutoff sectional wise and overall, and good attempts कितने होने चाहिए. Good attempts मतलब 90 percentile के लिए कितने चाहिए, 80 के लिए कितने चाहिए, and so on and so forth. So please everyone mark your calendar. Slot 3 वाले तो तीनों देख लेंगे तुरंत. And people, if there is anyone right now who is watching, if you want to target, if you're targeting CAT 2023, if you're going to write CAT next year, please do join our comprehensive program. We have a lot of batches starting that has already started. So you will be given everything that is mentioned over here. You will be helped with your GDPI preparation, which is very important. You will be given more than 70 mocks for all the MBA exams, including CAT and non-CAT. You'll be given a tablet using which you can study and learn. And people who are writing this year's CAT, and if you still want to, attempt some mocks, you please you can go ahead and buy the test series, wherein you get more than 70 mocks and you get video solutions. That this is an important thing. अब वो solution का समय गया where people type in and you try to understand. Now video solution happens. So it's easier in video solutions to understand LRDI as well as your geometry questions, right? And last lab to CAT 2022 is going on from 17th October every day at 7 p.m. Today also at 7 p.m. the next 2 hours this is going to be there. So we discuss all the most probable questions that may come this year CAT and the section wise score booster. Don't forget to subscribe our channel. So people who have not subscribed or liked the video so far, please do it before you leave. Do follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Telegram. In Telegram, we have the name of the channel is BYJU'S MBA Doubts. So if you got any queries, get in touch with us there. And if you want to see more sessions like these, you can download the app, wherein the notification will tell you which all sessions are happening. So if we do, let's say, 10 sessions on YouTube, we do around 30 sessions on our app. Different sessions. It's not the same session copied over there. It's a completely different session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Reaching time is given after the contact in straight road when they start from different ends. Piyush did not understand. Reaching time is given after their contact in straight road when they start from different ends. Acha, wo wala. Okay, so this is how you solve that question. Okay, there are two people, A and B, and they're moving towards each other. और अच्छा geometric mean की बात कर रहे हो. हाँ. Suppose they meet here, okay, and after meeting, A takes 4 hours to reach his destination and B takes 9 hours to reach his destination. Question है कितना time लगा उनको meet करने में? It's given as geometric mean of 4 and 9. 6 hours में they met. ठीक है? So Abhi, I don't know how much time you guys have, but you actually look at a lot of questions from TSD and time and work, you will realize that they are same. पर ये तो TSD है, ये तो time and work है, same कैसे है? Because the way formula is devised. See, when you are walking, when you are covering a certain distance, that is also work. So actually TSD is not different from time and work or vice versa. It's only the language and the way we visualize and understand things, it's different. Logically, they are the same thing. अगर आप सोचो इसके बारे में, क्योंकि number of men into duration gives you work, time into speed gives you distance. So any formula of this type, A into B is equal to C, will always follow all the properties, all the shortcuts, all the formula of the questions from TSD or time and work. ये तो होना ही है. Same formula है, time की जगह कुछ और word use करोगे. Instead of speed, you will be using some other word because you have a new formula. So price into consumption is equal to expenditure. Instead of time, there is price. Instead of speed, you have consumption or vice versa. So it's because the way they behave from the formula, that's why you have got the same shortcuts. That's how we remember कि इसका shortcut ये क्यों लगेगा, क्योंकि ये formula उस formula के जैसा दिखता है तो वही लगेगा. It's easier and we have to remember so much less. Okay, thank you everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.